power. Praise and power all. Welcome to another moment of harmony. We are here on a Sunday moment. Y'all know I'm always so gracious and grateful when you guys take the time out on your sacred Sundays to spend them with me here at a moment of harmony, or to take the time out to get yourself a moment. Always gracious, always grateful about it. Thank you and thank you and thank you again. We are coming into Meiotic moments. We're week number 2 of the 42 laws of Mayat, and we are having moments where we are looking deeply into ourselves, deeply into our characters, deeply into our beings. I want to say thank you to all who have had Mommy Mercy this morning, those that are watching me live and are in the chat room. I am coming in a couple of minutes behind. Mommy Mercy, crazy Sunday. I spent a great deal of time last week out of town, had some things that I really needed to take care of, but I'm back, and I'm so grateful that you all gave me the time and the mercy. I also want to do a quick shout out to Mitch Green and the Out of the Kitchen Project. Those that were able to perform last night. I was supposed to, but there was a number of things that impeded on me being able to take care of that. But I still wanted to give a shout out to all the artists, and especially Mitch Green, who is the producer, organizer, head entertainer of the night. I hope that it was phenomenal. I'm pretty much short and certain it was. And definitely just continue to support Black art. Continue to support artists here locally, those in the DMV. Like, support your artists. Baltimore, Delaware, Philly, New York, DC. Listen, if they're performing and they're giving their time and their energy and their love and their light, go out and support them if you can. Because listen, art is the foundation of our society, the foundation of our beingness, right? Art is our soul expression. Let's say it's the soul. Art is the soul. We have so many other things that are great contributors, our resources, our networking, our access, the people themselves. But art is the soul. So definitely make sure that we keep art alive. And now let's move into our moment, okay? We are in meiotic moments, which I already know is going to be the most favorite series of all of the Moment of Harmony series that I've had thus far, and it's been about 2 years worth. I am so excited to do a moment of harmony, meiotic moments and a moment of harmony, where we are going over the 42 laws of Mayat. We are dealing with them practically. We're talking about spiritual systems that can be put in place, tools that we can actually use and grow in, that will make us better people. It is our ways that are damaging our days. It is our ways that are damaging our days. And that is why I'm so high. Peace, everyone. It is our ways that are damaging our days. And that is why I'm so excited to get into the character of self, the character components. Peace. To get into the character components of healing, the character components of growing up, becoming a better person of yourself. So last week, we did a peace. Last week we did a I have not sinned. And this week we are doing I have not committed robbery with violence. I am so excited. I can't express my excited. Okay, Krista is asking to be shouted out. Hey, Krista. Welcome to a moment of harmony. Welcome, everyone. Madison Sky. Krista, I'm so grateful. So blessed that you all are tuning in and checking out a moment of harmony. I hope that you all are blessed and have an extraordinarily blessed week, and that because you stopped in to have a moment, you'll have many moments throughout the week for yourself. Thank you, as always, for all of everyone for adding me to their self-care routine. As you are taking diligent care of yourself and putting yourself first and loving yourself greatly, thank you so much for adding in a moment, okay? So, a moment, the special ingredient, okay? I have not committed sin. This week, I have not committed robbery with violence. I'm just so excited, okay? Like I said, it's our ways. It is the ways. It is our ways that are damaging our days. And I feel like there is such a neglected component to healing that we are not focusing on greatly, and that if we look into it, it's going to help boost us to the next level of ourselves, our leveling up. Okay, so let's do it. All right, I have not committed robbery with violence. Again, no matter what spiritual practice you follow, no matter what you subscribe to, these are all about the ways of ourselves, how we are dealing in the greatness of ourselves, our higher selves versus our lower selves, and our vibration, and how we keep a high vibration. That is universal. That is for everyone. And I am again using cultural practices and ideologies in order to help us move forward in that direction. So I would like to get into breaking down this whole I have not committed robbery with violence. The first thing I want to do is, a lot of times when we think about robbery, people put robbery and stealing together, right? I want you to know that the law very specifically does not say there is I have not stolen, and I think that's last week. But this week does not use the word steal. It uses the word robbery. And I think robbery is very intentionally and specific to this particular law for a reason. I think that when we say, okay, so first off, stealing is to take something that is not yours, that doesn't belong to you. Stealing is to take something. Robbery is to take from someone. Stealing is to take something. Robbery is to take from someone. So we're talking about two acts that can be criminal or unrighteous, two low vibrational acts, but that are very separate from each other. Not one being better than the other, but one being specifically noted in this law that I want us to zone and pay attention to. Stealing is taking something. You could steal a bike. People are stealing Amazon packages. You could steal gum out the store. Not right, but it has a different weight when we talk about the weight of your heart as this law, as it pertains to this specific law. Robbery is taking from someone, a fellow human being, another person, flesh and blood. You have to go and take something, which is one thing, and then you have to take it a step further by taking it from someone. I love this perspective. I love this zone in, because I think a lot of times as we transgress against each other, we leave the each other out of how much of a magnitude, or the magnitude of the act that we're doing. When we came here through each other, for each other. Every single person that exists came through a woman, right? Parts of your existence came out of a man, came through him, came out of a woman, came through her. We come through each other for each other. This is the whole essence of humanity. And knowing that this is the essence of humanity, we have to know that this is going to be our leveling up into growing and becoming, right? Our growing and becoming and into supremacy, your supreme level, your highest level of being, right? So in order to get to that level, that highest level of existence, guess what? You came into existence through a person, and it is with and by people that you will elevate to your next level of existence, is what I'm saying, okay? A human being birth you, and human beings will raise you. So I'll come through this. I try not to respond to these. Peace, everyone. Welcome to a moment of harmony. So we come through a human being. We come through a human being for other human beings, with other human beings. So this is why we're here, okay? So when we talk about transgression, it is not something that we want to do in the first place. But then when we talk about transgression on others, we talk about the transgressions against others. I want us to really be able to, the weight that takes on us. We are not at all supposed to be harming one another. We are not supposed to be exploiting, manipulating, damaging. See, as a spiritual being, as the spirit being the most important part, we talked about that last week. As the spirit being the most important part, nothing damages this, as above, so below. Nothing damages the spirit more than the damage of the flesh of the being. So as we are damaging one another, as we are hurting one another, killing one another, as we are doing these things to other people, it is what is exactly happening to our spirit. And a lot of people think, oh, we should not do wrong to others for others. That's a component. But I want you to know very importantly that as we work through these 42 laws, we are not doing damage to others for our own spirit's sake as well. Your spirit is damaged every time you damage another human being. And I know there's this broad scope of damage. We're thinking about, and this is how we get into rating righteousness. We like to rate righteousness, and we'll get into that next. So let me pause and let's go through this first. Okay. Stealing is to take something. Robbery is to take something from someone. This law specifically says, I have not committed robbery with violence. There's two parts to this law. I have not taken something from someone using egregious and excessive force. Why? What is the significance of putting all of these things together? What is the significance of this law? And because it's a big one. This is a big one. So let's continue to go ahead and work through this. Remember, stealing is taking something. Robbery is taking something from someone. And the word robbery is used instead of I have not stolen specifically. Because robbery greatly entails the damage you're doing to an individual, what you are taking from someone. Okay? So, when we get into this, the entire law, I have not committed robbery with violence. We're talking about insult to injury, right? Because robbery is already damaging. But we're saying I'm not doing it with violence. So this is where we get into rating righteousness. So we keep in mind that the law doesn't say steal, because there are people that steal formula when they don't have money, or Aladdin, one of my favorite childhood movies. Aladdin was known as a thief, right? But he was homeless. He was a vagabond. He was stealing bread and things like that. And it was like, off with his head. But my thing is, notice that the law does not say steal in that realm, because there are people that take things that don't belong to them. There are people that take things that they don't have. Robbery is very specifically used because robbery is very forceful and intentional, and it is, again, on people, on the being. I'm not saying you took something off the table. I'm saying you took something from a person, from a human. I want us to be able to rate it, because a lot of us like to rate righteousness. And this is something we kind of got into last week, right? A lot of us like to say, when it comes to, we talked about I have not sinned last week. When it comes to sinning, we think of sinning as like murder or robbery, or we think of it as, lying to tons of people. What is it called? Like, the word is escaping me right now, but a lot of corporate heads do it, oh my goodness, I can't believe this word is escaping me right now. I hate when that happens, and that is happening more and more lately. Oh, but okay. But pretty much extortion. Is that what it is? I don't know. But listen, I don't know if that's the word I'm looking for. But here's what I'm saying. People that are lying to people, stealing money from them, corporations that are, robbing. A lot of us want to think that if we're not a part of a drug cartel, if we aren't a serial killer, if we aren't doing these big, horrible acts, that we are still righteous, that we are not committing sin, or that we are not insulting or hurting individuals. And here's the thing. You cannot rate righteousness in that way. Last week, we talked about righteousness being a high vibration, just you're doing things the right way, period. We talked about righteousness being right against wrong, period. So coming into your home and not speaking to your partner, that's unrighteous. That's unrighteous. Being cruel or unusual to children, being aggressive, being overly exerting and exploiting of your authority, aggression. not giving care and kindness and consideration to your fellow human beings, in any capacity that you operate in, just being rude and nasty, unrighteous. Unrighteous. I don't want us to get caught up in rating righteousness as we walk through these 42 laws and saying, like, well, I don't rob people, so I don't know why this law applies to me. I'm gonna let you know how this applies to all of us. And because I'm not talking about a gun to the head and a give me your purse or your wallet. I'm talking about me using my beingness inappropriately and manipulatively and exploitatively against your beingness to get something that I want from you, that I have no intention of being reciprocal about, that I'm not going to be transparent and forthcoming about, and I'm going to do it in a way that hurts you. I'm going to do it in a way that damages you. We're talking about trauma. We're talking about pain. This is robbery with violence. That's what I'm saying when I'm speaking on that today. So when we talk about going into righteousness, and we talked about it last week. Oh, I don't do this, and I'm centered me, hurtful me, disrespectful or egregious me, not me. Yes, you. Yes, you who don't take the time and consideration to communicate and work things out with people, causing damage to their soul or their spirit, causing damage to their experience. This fleshly experience is a human experience. This is one of the most beautiful components to my experience as a spirit. Not the only one, not the first or the last, but it is one very prominent component to my experience as a being. Is the fleshly experience. The time I spent here as a human being counts as a great component to my spiritual nature. If you cause damage to my experience, robbery with violence. If you cause damage to my experience, if I cause damage to your experience, robbery with violence. Mind you, we talked about how these laws are recited in the beginning of the day as I will not, and then reaffirmed at the end of the day as I have not. Because listen, it is not easy. This is a part of growing. This is a part of development. This is a part of maturizing. This is a part of getting to a place within yourself of intentionality and divinity. So I speak it out loud in the morning. I will not commit robbery with violence. Why say it before the day starts if it's not that deep? Why reaffirm it at the end of the day if it didn't take so much not to do? Again, I'm not talking about a gun to the head. But are you tempted to get things from people? Take things, time, energy, expertise. Are you tempted to take things for your gain that deplete another person and leave them damaged in some way? Being dishonest, being manipulative, being exploitive, robbery with violence. We're talking about Mayat. Have you brought balance to that? If you have, if you did, if you were, we're talking about Mayat, right? So I have not committed robbery with violence. We're talking about adding insult to injury. We're talking about coming into a position where you've already transgressed upon something and you're going to take it a step further. You're going to take it a step further with your denial or your gaslighting or your lack of, accountability. Robbery with violence. Not only have you taken my kindness for weakness, that's robbery. You took that from me. Not only have you taken my kindness for weakness and being dishonest and being backstabbing and being unbalanced, but now you will insult me by not being accountable, by not being in balance, by not being in good stature with your words, thoughts, or deeds. Robbery with violence. Again, we want to, when we hear this law, I know that everyone wants to think, I have not taken a gun and pistol whipped nobody and took their wallet and their purse. But have you gone to someone who trusts you, your boss or your coworkers? Have you been ignorant to those that are vulnerable to you, your children or your mates? Have you been dishonest and manipulative and exploitive to those that are depending on you yourself? You yourself. Again, you're the people that need you, that are depending on you, people who need your protection and your guidance. Robbery with violence. There's all of this talk that's going on with everything that's going on with Diddy and many of the other celebrities. And I'm not here to talk about the celebrities or what's going on with them particularly, but I want you to know that when we see things like domestic violence, that is actual violence, but it's you taking something from someone. I want everyone to know that you can take someone's dignity. You can take someone's trust. You can take someone's pride. You can take someone's hope. Robbery. This is you causing damage to their human experience. And that is not what you are here for, through each other, with each other. Through a human being, with human beings, is where you elevate to your level of divinity. So sayings like there's a sucker born every day and we're going to take them for all we got. Sayings like dog eat dog world. These are robbery with violence. This is robbery with violence. This is saying that I am going to come into the human experience in order to hurt other human beings to get where I need to go. And I am going to damage their souls in the meantime, in the taking. I'm going to damage people in the taking. These are women that are saying I'm coming here for, these are women that are coming here for purses and bags and, sugar daddies. And they're going to come to take and give, take from this person in order to get what they want. This is men that are lying and cheating and stealing, using their male aggression and their charm or their protection and their influence and their power to take and break. And I'm saying we are doing that on both ends. We're doing that on both ends. As human beings, again, like I said earlier, it is our ways that are damaging our days. As human beings, we have found solace in this society. The society of capture, a society of capitalism, a society of slavery, a society of hierarchy. We're talking about people a society that was built on robbery with violence, both literally and figuratively, taking and breaking. I want you to know that if you want to get to your highest level of self in righteousness, if you want to get to your highest level of healing, those of us that say we want healing spaces, we want light all around us, we want we want our love experiences to be more divine. We want our experiences with our children more divine. We want our life. We want to look into a mirror and be full of life, not hopelessness, not depression, not defeated, not depleted. We want to look and be better. Understand that your character is a component of your spirit. Your character is a component to your spirit. This is why all spiritual practices, all religions, all walks of religion, all of them have in some way laws, virtues, principles, rules, all of them. Commandments, they all do. Because your character is a vital component to your spiritual climate. And how I am is greatly predicated upon how I am. Hey, DJ, run that back. How I am is greatly predicated upon how I am. Show up better. Do better. Stop only looking at thieves and robbers and rapists. You think that all the sinners in the world, you think that all of the Most egregious people in the world are locked up somewhere wearing a uniform in prison. No, it's you that's lying to your husband or your wife. It's you that's ignoring or neglecting your child or yourself. It's you that is harming or hurting or lying to or stretching out people that care and are genuinely giving. I'm saying yes, bosses, co-workers, classmates, teachers. I'm saying the moment you are damaging the experience of humanity, you have transgressed through people, with people. It's how we're growing. This is how we're growing. You won't come here, not as a natural being made of from creation. You won't come here if not through the body of a human. And you won't get there without the connection to the body of humanity. I have not committed robbery with violence. Stop rating righteousness. Just be right. You think you're better than a serial killer when you're coming in and you're stealing money from people that trust you. Robbery with violence. I'm taking what I need and I'm damaging in the meantime. I'm damaging hope. I'm damaging trust. I'm damaging innocence or divinity, simplicity. I want us to get into the last component, kind of sort of evaluating violence, right? And we kind of have spoken to this already. I want us to evaluate violence because this was added at the back of this law. I have not committed robbery, part 1, with violence. Part 2, insult to injury. I haven't lied and cheated and stolen. I haven't exploited and manipulated and deprived. And then I continued. And then I didn't apologize. And then I acted innocent. And then I denied. And then I apologized and I reaggressed. Robbery with violence. I want us to get into the violent component of this side of things. So evaluating violence. Violence is any type of hurtful aggression. Anytime you are aggressive with someone and you hurt them. This is violent. This is damage. Violence is damage. So violence can be physical damage. That's a punch or a slap or a kick. A gunshot wound, a stab. Violence. But violence can also be words, actions, deeds, and thoughts upon someone else. Upon yourself, but upon someone else. So if I am, again, if there is any action that is hurtful and aggressive, meaning I'm dating someone and I'm not being honest to them, I'm using people. I'm lying to people. I see that it's stressing them out, but I'm getting what I want, right? If I want their body, I play with their body. I'll play with a heart to play with a body. I'll play with minds to be able to play with bodies. Robbery and violence. If I go into this corporate meeting or this setting where I'm discussing finances, or even if I'm going into any bargaining, I don't care if you're a farmer, where you're bargaining and you're discussing trade and you're going in and you know that you have, you're repetitively browbeating people, or you're repetitively, this is aggression. And you're demeaning and you're putting people down. You're making people feel less sure of themselves. This is, hi, peace, everyone. This is hurtful and aggressive. I'm going to behave this certain way. I'm going to confuse you and I'm going to frustrate you and I'm going to deplete you and I'm going to drain you. And then once I know that I'm doing it, I'm going to apologize for it, or I'm going to back up from it, and I'm not going to be honest with it, but then I'm going to come back around and I'm going to do it again because I need more of what I need from you, even though I have no intention of being reciprocal, balanced, and just. This happens even with our children, those that break promises to our children. Violence. Breaking a promise to your child is you are in a powerful position, an authoritative position as a parent. They have trust in you, they have hope in you, and they have vulnerability, they have need in you. And when you use that inappropriately, it's aggressive. I promise you I'm going to do this. If you do that, I'll be there. Listen, you're hurting them. Then you break the promise, and then you gaslight your own child. I'm saying these are all types of experiences. I'm using some scenarios, but I'm saying there are thousands of ways. It could be your cousin, your friend, your next door neighbor. I'm saying when you are thinking about violence, see, a lot of men think because they don't smack or beat their women that they aren't violent. A lot of women think that because they don't use weapons and harsh anything harsh, getting someone to beat their husband up or any harsh tactics, they think that they're not violent. I want you to know that 5 and 6 and 7 and 20 years of holding someone in dismay, holding someone in discontent, holding someone against what they are deserving of intentionally, carelessly, recklessly, inconsiderately. Violent. You are violent. You are violent because you are damaging their experience. Oh my gosh. Please just stop and think. Please just stop and consider. Please just be mindful and present within yourself. Am I damaging this experience for my children? Human. Is me being a part of this damaging? Am I damaging this experience for my coworkers or my classmates, my cohorts? Is me being a part of this relationship damaging this life experience? Calling people out of their names, being moody and dismissive of people, belittling and inconsiderate to individuals. Am I damaging? I'm saying at a traffic light and someone cuts you off, and then they're like an F you, road rage, robbery with violence. That was how violent of you to communicate with another human being that you don't even know because of your recklessness, because of your carelessness, insult to injury. I believe that at its very core, this law is insult to injury. I have not insulted anyone and injured it with action. I have not insulted anyone and injured it with action. That's gossiping, hurtful and destructive words that come out of your mouth that make life harder for someone else, spreading lies, robbery with violence. You have taken someone's character. You have taken someone's credibility. You have taken someone's story and circumstance, and you have exploited it, and you have damaged it. Robbery with violence. But you're sitting there because you haven't put a gun to anyone's head trying to figure out how this law relates to you. If you hurt people and you've damaged their human experience in any way, bring balance to it. I promise you, you won't have balance to the aggressions on your life unless you balance the aggressions that you've put on anyone else's. We are not all perfect. Some of us have caused harm unintentionally. Some of us have caused harm unknowingly, same as unintentionally, meaning being taught ways that were destructive. Being taught that it's okay to talk to you. Listen, I can't tell you how many times I've seen peers get older, be around their parents and are disrespectful or snappy in their words to the elders in their family, their parents, their grandparents, because their parents weren't good parents, or their grandparents were mean to them when they were little. What do you want? Why are you talking like that? Ooh. But you think because you're not murdering someone, you're righteous. That's robbery with violence. You are taking a vulnerable moment. You are exploiting this vulnerability of this person, and you are being aggressive and hurtful, even if you feel like you have a reason to. Mommy Mercy. That's Grandma Mercy. Sorry about that. Let's see if they get that fixed up. Mommy Mercy. Okay. So even if they feel like, even if you feel like it's not, even if you feel like, oh, I'm good, I want you to know it is how you are that reflects and predicates how you are. How I am for how I am. If you're in a bad state, if you're in a bad way of being, if things just are not working out for you, if things just aren't coming to you, I dare you to evaluate your meiotic principles within self. Whether you study and prescribe or subscribe to Mayat or not, but do you study and subscribe to, thank you all so much, do you study and subscribe to humanity is what I'm asking. Do you study and subscribe to the character building, the culture of character, of righteousness, of oneness, of grandness, of greatness? If that's where you are, regardless of how you pray, whether you get on your knees or fold your arms or meditate, regardless of how you pray, regardless of who you pray to, I want you to know that how you pray, who you pray, you're the prayer. But you're the walking, breathing, living prayer. You're the walking, breathing, living prayer. So how you act, how you behave, how you show up, how you exchange very much lets me know about where you are. Again, not what you can recite, not what you know about any prophet that means so much to you. Oh, that's great. Wonderful. I'm glad that you're studying things of significance. I'm glad that you're taking part in things that are high vibrational. But I know what it means to you by what you mean to the world. I'll know not by what you can say or do. I know what righteousness means to you by what you mean to the world. What peace means to you by what you mean to the world. What greatness means to you by what you mean to the world. Do you mean well? Do you mean well? And then are you well in your actions? Mayat, are you at balance with yourself? So what I want us to do, what I want us to really just take when it comes to I have not committed robbery with violence. I have not, I will not, I have not committed robbery with violence. I want us to know that when we are speaking that law, that affirmation, when we are giving that vibration out at the start of our day, that as we're going through healing through all of our past traumas, yes, I know people have transgressed upon you. I know people have robbed and been violent with you. But listen to these laws and how they don't say, I have not committed robbery and violence unless. I have not committed robbery with violence except. I have not committed robbery with violence but. Remember how we talked about the weight of your heart. How heavy your parents' heart was, how damaged their experience was, will not dictate your elevation to your highest level of self. Their weight does not translate. I want you to know whomever has done whatever, whomever has done whatever. I'm not saying that it's small. I'm not saying that it's minuscule. I'm not saying that it doesn't matter. I'm saying bring some balance to it. Be righteous with it. Because when it comes to what you weigh, their weight does not translate. That person that violated you, that person that was egregious towards you, that person that broke you, that person that hurt you, they are weighted. We already know that. Robbery with violence all over them. They're weighted. They're so heavy that they must put heaviness on other people just to survive. They about to suffer only the weight of their own consciousness. But their weight doesn't translate when it comes to the weighing of your heart. It won't come through like, oh, you're heavy because you were violated. You're heavy because you were abandoned. You're heavy because you were neglected. See, that weight doesn't translate. It's just that you're heavy. That's all. That's all that's going to come through. That you're heavy. And that you have heaviness that you have put on others because you're heavy. You're heavy. We're talking about your journey. We're talking about your elevation. We're talking about your light. We're talking about your lifting. We're talking about saving your life, making your spirit light. See, I can't carry your story, mom, dad, sister, brother. I can't keep your weight on me because at the end of the day, I got to weigh in. I might hold your purse for a minute, but trust me, my goal is to get it up off me before I get on my scale. Scale, we're talking about the measurement of self. We're talking about the judgment of the weighing of your heart. The scale. I will not get on a scale with someone else's weight. I will not get on a scale with someone else's weight. This is what we do, though. And this is how we validate violence. This is how we validate aggression and egregious acts upon one another. Every time you say, well, I talk to men this way because my mother talked to men this way, that you getting on a scale with someone else's weight because your mother not here in this room. Your mother's not here in this marriage. Your mother's not here in these shoes. Only her weight is. Only her weight is. Oh, well, I don't trust nobody because my father used to such and such. Yes, you getting on a scale with someone else's weight. Look, we quick to say, not me. We're quick to say, I don't do that. I don't live like that. I live a pretty simple. I'm pretty easygoing. It's real. I'm good. I'm good to people. I'm good to myself. Ain't God good? Whole time missing your acts of robbery with violence. Your taking and your breaking of yourself and of others. I want us to really, as we navigate through these 40, because we're only at week number 2, which means we got 40 more weeks to go of going through these laws of Mayat. I am just so moved and happy, blessed and excited for us to have these deep dialogues and discussion, because we're not getting to healing without getting through the character. We're not going to get through our greatest leveling of self without looking into the credibility of self. Making ourselves better, making ourselves whole, making ourselves high in order to be on a journey of elevation. So I'm just so excited. The way that we treat each other, the way that we give love, the way that we communicate and consider, the way that we grow and we nurture means so very much to me. And I know that it means so very little to the structure of our society. And that is why I'm just so excited to be able to get many of these things outside of myself. Love each other better, simply. Not a man versus woman, not a woman versus man. I'm saying do better collectively. Do better collectively. Together, in unison, in harmony, in balance, in mayat, do better. Do better in your love and do better in your giving. Do better in your light, and watch how your life gets better. Watch when you're better in your light, how you're better in your life. Watch how when you're better in your light, you're better in your life. Yes, life is good. Yes, God is good. But guess what? You gotta be good too in order to see the good in life. The good in life. In order to experience and receive the good from God. You got to be a good place to invest. You have to be a good place, a good climate to plant soil and grow things. If things are dying in your life, if things are being destroyed in your life, if things are being depleted, if you're having a drought of love and affection, if you're having a drought of protection and connection. Listen, what is your climate that things aren't growing the way that they need? I'm not blaming you for the way that people are treating you or the way that things are. I'm not saying that you are to blame. I'm saying that you can be the one to change. That's what I'm saying. That only you are the one to change. No blame, just change. Let's grow. The better the light, the better the life. Let's grow yourself. Baba Isa, let's grow. Let's grow yourself into a better positioning. Let's grow yourself into a better place within your heart. Let's outgrow damage and pain and trauma. Let's outgrow dysfunctional, painful patterns with one another. Let's continue to become our greater selves, one meiotic moment at a time. I am so grateful that you joined me for a meiotic moment today, a moment of harmony. You already know I'm ready to get on to next week to number 3, which is I have not stolen, and I cannot wait to get into that. Right? Because listen, I got my mind full. Listen, I don't know if anyone is as much as a music connoisseur as I am, and I love all walks of music, all genres of music. I think heavy metal might be the only thing, but everything else I'm with it. And I was listening to Lil Wayne, How to Love. I had a lot of crooks trying to steal my heart. Listen, we gonna get into this. I have not stolen. And if you think because you haven't put some deodorant in your purse at Walmart or such and such that this is not going to be character building for you, I ain't even talking about that. I ain't even talking about that. Okay? I can't wait to get into it with you next week. I can't wait to see you for another moment of harmony next week. I am so very grateful and I love you very much. Thank you for joining and participating. The chat is jumping. I love y'all. Thank you. And I will see you next week. Take really great care of yourself. Really great care of yourself, and go on out your way to take really great care of someone else. This has been a moment of harmony. I'll see you next week.